here I am attending these AA meetings. I felt I needed to go every day just to be around people that understood me. I felt comfortable, safe there. And there was this lady that always introduced herself, grateful, recovered alcoholic. And I always thought, why would anybody be grateful for that? And I never introduced myself as an alcoholic. I would just say my name and pass. That I never talked. I just listened. So at some point, after reading a little of the stories and really relating in the big book to finding myself in more places than not of the steps and the stories, and thinking maybe I do have this thing, at some point it dawned on me that I, like, fully in my heart of hearts, I knew that I did have this thing called alcoholism. So I started maybe trying to take the steps a little serious. I really struggled with the idea of God. I wasn't sure where I was at in my journey there. So I wasn't sure how I was going to go through the steps when that was a lot of the talk going on. But I did finally decide that I would try to get a sponsor, whatever that was. I didn't even know. I had asked a few people. They didn't ever answer the phone or call me back or whatever. But this lady I sat next to at my very first meeting got a 35-year chip, and I was blown away why anyone in this world would ever want to be sober for 35 years. That just seemed like the craziest thing on the planet. Like, why would anybody want that? So for some reason, she kept coming to my mind. Like, so back in my mind would be her. So when I ran out of options of people to ask, I called her and I said, I don't even know if you sponsor people when you have 35 years of sobriety. I don't even know how this works, but I need some help. So she kindly accepted. Maybe 3 weeks in, she came up to me and said, I'm going to have to fire you because you're wasting my time. You don't take this serious. You're not doing anything. You go to the meetings, but you don't talk. I'm like, I'm here every day. What do you want from me? You don't participate. You don't do anything. So, yeah, I'm good. And I was so mad. I walked to my car, cussing her out under my breath, thinking, how dare she, fire me? I didn't even know you could do that. And like, when I sat in my car, it really hit me. What am I doing? Like, nothing. So that really lit a fire under me to prove her wrong, if anything else. So I had to go on this trip to, I was going back and forth between 2 states. I had to go back on this trip back to the state where I was living in my car, homeless, and for like 3 years. And I was terrified of how I was going to be able to stay sober. I'd been sober about a month, and I didn't know how I was going to keep it there, because that was like going into the lion's den. And so I stayed with my grandma. I was only supposed to be there like 3 days. I was really restless one night and outside pacing. If there is a God, if you do exist, please don't let me go anywhere tonight, because I know if I do, it's over. And somehow I ended up staying at my grandma's, so that must have worked. But really what was profound was I had promised my son, I had been absent for a long time. And I had promised my son for the first time that I would be at a concert for him, a choir concert. I really meant it. Like, everything in me meant I would be there. It was a Sunday. I was supposed to be there on Tuesday. I was going to be leaving to get there, and I got snowed in. And so all the roads, I've never even heard of this, but the roads I needed to go on were closed. So I was so angry, and I thought, okay, you say you're this God and all this. Why would you do this to me now? I don't get it. Like, I'm trying. So the most amazing thing happened out of that just, anyway. So, okay, I had a friend that I had been visiting. He was at my grandma's. My uncle came to my grandma's. We were talking about where my mom grew up. I never got to see where my mom grew up. I always wanted to see it. This friend says, "Oh, is it the house that looks like this?" And my uncle says, "Yeah, the one." And I said, "You've been there?" And he goes, "Oh, I know who lives there." And so he arranged, very, very interesting. He arranged for me to go to this house, which happens to probably be a drug dealer. I don't know exactly what they did there, but they didn't really like visitors. So he arranged for me to come there. They were very standoffish when we got there. Wouldn't let me come inside, kept a distance. There's a sign on the door that says we shoot first and ask questions later, whatever. You know, I was a little anxious. I started telling them about what I knew about my mom's experience there. My grandpa built the house. My mom grew up there. And they started to warm up and invited me in. And honestly, I thought it was over because there was alcohol and drugs. And I thought, oh, here we go. If I don't partake in any of this, I'm going to be considered a narc or something or whatever. So there went that. So I'd said this little prayer, like, all right, like, to this God, I still don't even know if he's real. And said, the lady says, or they offer me a drink, and I say, you know, this thing. I just got sober. I've been sober like 30 days, and I'm really trying to do this thing. And she got all excited and said, oh, I've been trying to get him to go. And I thought, oh my gosh, is this really happening right now? So I didn't have to partake. I was amazed. I got to see the inside of my mom's house. It was like beautiful. So on my drive home, when the roads did open up, I did miss the concert. But on my drive home, all I could think about is God did that. God did that. He allowed me that moment. And I swear to you, the whole way home, I was seeing shooting stars everywhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too much right now. So that was like a real eye-opening experience for me to know that God really did exist. And there was really something to that. And, you know, in the midst of all that, my black and white world that I was living in started to gradually have color. Birds were singing that I didn't even remember hearing before, and life was coming back.